Having children is wrong, and that is something that should be obvious to each and every person. But it isn't obvious to a lot of people. There are people in this world who are not capable of understanding that having children is actually wrong. There are people in this world, even if you explained it to them in many different ways, how wrong it is to actually have children, they will not be able to understand that it is wrong. Like they are incapable of understanding that it is wrong to have children. It is obvious that it is wrong. It isn't something that we should even be debating about. It is obvious that it's wrong. The same way that it's obvious that it is wrong to gamble with someone else's money. If I'm addicted to gambling and I usually win and I love gambling, it doesn't mean that I can gamble with someone else's money. That would be wrong. And if I decide to gamble with someone else's money and win, that doesn't mean that I did the right thing. Gambling with someone else's money, if they did not agree, is wrong. Even if I win. If your friend took your money and gambled with it and actually won, you'll be happy, right? I mean, because they're going to give you your money back and more, so you'll be happy. But that doesn't mean that what they have done is actually right. No, it is wrong. It's just that something good happened after they did something that was wrong. This is something that a lot of people who think that having children is okay don't understand. And this is something that should be easy to understand. See, when you have a child, there's a chance that they might not like the experience. There's a chance that they might suffer a lot. There's a chance that things might not go well for them. There's a chance that it would have been better for them to have never been born. Like there's a chance that they might actually feel that way because, well, that would really be the truth, because they will be suffering a lot. Remember, the point of any experience is actually learn something or, enjoy the experience. Like something positive must come out of having an experience. But we mustn't lie to ourselves. We mustn't tell ourselves that each and every experience is worth it. We know that if hell existed, no one would actually deserve to go to hell, and there wouldn't be anything that they would gain from being tortured for eternity, right? So not every experience is worth it. There are people in this world who have suffered so much that it would have been better for them if they were never born in the first place. And there are people who have really enjoyed their lives. I know that. There are people who really have enjoyed their lives. I have seen people get things that they want easily. Like, things just work out for them. Whatever they want, they're able to get these things, easily, without really having to work hard. Most of us have to work hard to have the things that we want. We even have to work hard for love. For something as simple as love. You find yourself working very hard for something as simple as love. Find yourself working hard to be able to afford a house, to be able to afford a car, to be able to afford food. while there are people who don't even have to work. So there are people who have really enjoyed this life because they were able to get most of the things that we want as humans. They were able to find love. They were able to succeed in a lot of ways. Everyone wants to be like them. But there are people who have suffered. No one wants to be like them. They've suffered. Nothing worked out for them. No one loves them. The people that they depended on betray them. They hate their jobs and they're not even being paid enough. Like, things just suck for them. Things are not working out for them. And some of these people do wish that, they were never born because, they're suffering and they don't know what to do. That is why on the last video that I published, I spoke about how life is actually a burden, because a lot of people don't seem to realize that. It comes with a lot of responsibilities, comes with a lot of suffering. We know that it is wrong to impose life on someone if they're going to suffer. We know that if people are poor, it will actually be wrong for them to have children if they cannot take care of their children. If they are addicted to drugs, if they're toxic, we know that it will be wrong. I've had conversations with people who believe that it is not wrong to have children about this. They know that it's wrong. There are some people who cannot treat their children well because, they can't. They're not stable enough. Things are not working out for them. They can't even take care of themselves. And everyone can see that, their children are going to suffer for real. Like, if these people decide to have children, their children are going to suffer. So we know that. So we know that it is wrong to have children if suffering is guaranteed. You see? The same way that if I wanted to gamble with my friend's money and I knew that I was going to lose, I would know that it is wrong, right? But I would think that it is not wrong if I think there's a chance that I might win. I will only know that it was wrong if I lose, and they will also be angry because they will have lost money. They'll be angry when they realize that I used their money. You see? The problem is that humans have double standards. You can say that having a child is actually a gamble. You do not know how that child is going to be. You do not know how their lives is going to be, what they're going to struggle with, how the world is going to treat them. You do not know. You don't even know enough about the world. In fact, you know nothing about the world. You just know that if you have sex and you ejaculate, there's a chance that you might conceive. You just know that there's a chance that you might have a child. But you don't know why you must have the child in the first place. You don't know why your parents had you. You don't know why we exist. You don't know what our purpose in this world is. it should be obvious to you that it is wrong to have children, especially considering the amount of suffering that people go through, people who didn't even ask to be born here. The same way that it is obvious to you that it would be wrong to gamble with your friends' money. Just because it is possible to gamble with your friends' money and win doesn't mean that it is right to gamble with your friends' money if they did not agree. You see? If your friend came to Africa and you had no way of communicating with them and you knew where their money is, I mean, you can't get consent from them, right? Because, well, you can't communicate with them. And Mayweather was supposed to fight an amateur boxer. Knew that, well, I mean, there's a big chance that Mayweather might win. You know, like, there's no way this amateur boxer can beat Mayweather. But you didn't have money. You didn't have money to, gamble. You know that it will be wrong for you to take your friend's money. I mean, you might actually lie to yourself because we're very good at that. We're very good when it comes to lying to yourself. You might lie to yourself and say it isn't. But of course it is wrong. You can't get consent from them because they're not around. If you gamble with their money and you lose, you don't know how you're going to replace it. They might come back and ask you where their money is at, and you might even lie to them because what you've done is wrong. It will be only if you've won, that you return the money. You'll probably not even tell them that you won. You know how people are. When it comes to everything else, we're actually able to know what is right and what is wrong. And except when it comes to animals, of course. There are some people who are so delusional that they don't know that it's wrong to treat animals the way that we're treating animals. Like, that's being delusional, because you wouldn't want to be treated the way that animals are being treated. If there were aliens that came to this planet and that were more advanced than us, and that decided to treat animals the way that we're treating animals, we think that they're evil, right? Why would we think that they're evil? They will literally be doing the same thing that we're doing to animals. We know that animals are not as smart as we are. We know that there are a lot of things that we can do that they cannot do. We know that we can enslave them. So we enslave them. We mistreat them. We harm them. And we don't even care because they can't stand up for themselves. Right? We are more powerful than them. So if aliens that are more powerful than us came and actually enslaved us, why would they be wrong? They will literally be doing the same thing that we are doing. 100%. They will literally be doing what we're doing. What makes us so special? That we can abuse those that are less powerful than us, but then we cannot be abused by those that are more powerful than us. What makes us so special? We're delusional. But yeah, when it comes to everything else, we do know right from wrong. I was having a conversation with someone about psychedelics. I was asking them, what if life is just a crazy trip? And you wake up from this trip, you'll be surrounded by your friends and they're going to ask you how was the trip. Usually when I talk to people about psychedelics, I actually do ask them that question. What if it's just a crazy trip? What if it's just a dream? You know, you just took some psychedelics. You're an alien. You took some psychedelics, and you're having this psychedelic experience, right? It isn't real. I mean, when you take psychedelics, you're gonna have an experience. Sometimes you even encounter aliens that seem real. You know, sometimes you're gonna experience reality that seems to be realer than this reality. That can happen. You know, you start experiencing something that feels more real than this. That can happen. One of the biggest questions that we would need to ask ourselves is, if, for an example, you like psychedelics, like that guy, what is his name? He died. Leo Gura likes psychedelics. He talks a lot about psychedelics, but it's this guy. It's Terence McKenna. Yeah, he died. I think he died a while back. If you like psychedelics like him, you know, like psychedelics, would it be right for you to actually put psychedelics in someone else's food just because you like psychedelics? I mean, they're gonna have an experience, right? They're gonna dream, have an experience. Like, is that right? Because that's not so different from actually existing. Because they're gonna have an experience. You understand that? They're gonna have an experience. It is obvious to each and every person who's actually saying that, well, it wouldn't be right. I mean, there's a chance that if you take psychedelics, you're gonna have a good experience. There's a chance, there's a chance that if you take psychedelics, you're gonna have a good experience, but there's also a chance that you might have a horrible experience. There are people who have reported that they've had bad trips and they're not gonna take psychedelics ever again in their lives. There are people who have only taken psychedelics once and they were like, nope, my trip was so horrible, I'm never taking psychedelics again. And there are people who have taken psychedelics who have liked their experience and they're like, you know what, I always want to have these crazy psychedelic experiences because, well, I love these experiences. There are some psychedelics, when you take them, you even forget that you took psychedelics. Like with most psychedelics, when you take them, you know that, okay, I'm having a trip now. It's just a trip, I ate magic mushrooms and yeah, this is just a trip. But there are some psychedelics, you take them, you don't even know that you took psychedelics. Like, you're just gonna start hallucinating for real and not even know that you took psychedelics. So would it be right for me to decide right now that, oh, because I like psychedelics, I must just put psychedelics on someone else's food and they, eat the food and start tripping? Will that be right? Of course it wouldn't be right. No, even though there's a chance that they might like the experience, they might start tripping and then, wake up some minutes later and tell me, yo, that was awesome, man. Like, I loved it. That was awesome. But there's also a chance that they might wake up and be like, what the fuck? There's a chance of that. And that's what makes it wrong. Not everyone who is having this experience loves their experience. You see the problem? Not everyone who is having this experience loves their experience. That is the real problem. So it's weird that there are some people who don't understand that it is wrong to have children if not everyone who's having this experience loves the experience. But when it comes to other things, we're able to see that, well, it would be wrong to actually impose an experience on someone. when it comes to anything else, you see, without their consent, of course. We understand the value of consent when it comes to everything else, except when it comes to the most important thing, which is actually bringing someone here. We turn a blind eye when it comes to that. You see the problem? We're not even willing to have conversations about this. Like, no one in the mainstream media is talking about this. I don't even see movies where these kind of topics are discussed. You know, there's just this TV series that I've watched. It's called The Sinner. I love The Sinner from season 1. I loved it. I love season 2. I love season 3. I haven't watched season 4 yet. I'll watch it. I knew that whoever made that TV show is actually woke, you know, because I loved the first season. It's about this girl that was traumatized, you know. She was traumatized, and because of a trauma, she actually killed someone because of a trauma. But that movie actually makes you understand what led to her killing someone. And I've spoken to you a lot about free will, that we don't have free will. We're just victims of causality. You know, bad things can happen to you that ruin you for life. So there was this detective that was trying to understand what made her kill that person, you see. Season 2 was kind of like that as well. This kid was kidnapped and he killed the people who kidnapped him, and that guy was trying to understand, you know, why that kid would do something like that. Season 3 was my favorite. It was about this guy who was very intelligent, you know, too intelligent for his own good, you know, like many people would say, too intelligent for the world. Like, he was so rational, he was so right. You know, if you are so right in this world, you know, you're probably going to suffer a lot, because people ain't seeing things as they are. Like, people are delusional for real, you know, like, that's a fact. People are actually delusional. So if you are right, if you are telling people the real truth, you're going to suffer a lot. So that guy was right, you know, he was right, he was real, he was honest. His girlfriend was pregnant, and I remember I've actually I told you about this scene where he actually told his wife that, hey man, you know, we don't know what is really going on here, but in spite of that, we are gonna bring a child into this meaningless existence, you know. Like, I love that scene because he was saying something that was real, because he was real, he was honest. So yeah, The Sinner, which is, you know, one of the TV shows that I've watched where, you know, the characters actually did, you know, discuss the ethics of having children. Also, True Detective, I think, is a scene where they discuss the ethics of having children. But it's just like, it should actually be something that is spoken about more. We should see characters in movies talking about that more, you know, because it is really a big issue. We are having children for real, and we don't know what is really going on. We don't know what life is. We don't know what the meaning of life is. We don't know who created this world. We don't know why whoever created this world in the first place. We don't even know if this world was created. We don't even know if it's real, if it's not a simulation. You know, we know nothing. So why shouldn't we be talking about the ethics of having children? Why shouldn't we be talking about it? Do you understand how stupid we are as a society if we don't even think about what I'm telling you now? Like, how stupid are we to not even be thinking about what I'm telling you? We're living life as if we're chickens, you know? Chickens probably don't ask themselves what's going on. No, they just want to eat, and that's it. Just want to eat, have sex, lay eggs, and whatever. But they don't really ask themselves deep questions about life. It seems to me that most humans are incapable of asking themselves the deepest questions about life, and they will hate you for asking the deepest questions about life. They'll literally, like, they'll literally shame you for asking the deepest questions about life. As if you do not have the right to actually ask yourself and ask people the deepest questions about life. I don't understand that you had that right since you were born, because you do not know what this is for real. Lots of people be assuming that they know what this is, you know. Some people are too comfortable with their beliefs, you know. Even though they believe different things. I would understand if people who are comfortable with their believe the same thing. I'll be like, all right. I mean, people who are comfortable with their beliefs believe in what they believe just because they were indoctrinated, not because they were searching for the truth and found it. And people who believe something different from what they believe were indoctrinated as well, you know. Like, it had to do with where they were born, it had to do with how they were raised, what information they were exposed to, and that's it. Like, humans are dumber than you actually think, you know. Like, humans are actually dumb. It's scary how stupid people are. My biggest concern is that we do not understand that having children is actually wrong. It is wrong, but people cannot see that it's wrong. That is a huge problem, because there's no hope. If there's something that we're doing that is wrong and we're incapable of seeing that what we're doing is wrong, how are we going to, you know, stop doing it? We'll continue to do it because we think that what we're doing is right, because we're incapable of seeing that what we're doing is actually wrong. You see the problem? People are incapable of seeing that what they are doing is wrong. You can try to explain it to them in so many different ways and they just won't understand you. They are incapable of understanding you. It's sad, but it is true. It is scary that most of us are delusional. Most of us don't care about facts. Most of us ain't even capable of knowing the facts. I don't think you understand how fucked up that is. Like, most of us ain't even capable of knowing the facts. Someone can tell us something so true and they show us in every way possible that what they're telling us is the truth, and we still don't see that what they're telling us is the truth because of how delusional we are. You live in a world with people who are like that. Some of these people are very powerful in our society. Some of these people are the ones that are making decisions for everyone in our society. And we're outnumbered because there are very few people in this world who are not rational and who genuinely care about the truth. There are very few people who genuinely care about the truth and who will be happy to hear the truth. You know, there are some people who want the truth to be what they believe. These people don't really care about the truth. They just care about power, really. And there are people who just want the truth. It doesn't matter what they believe. I mean, as an antinatalist, you believe that this world is horrible, that it was created by, I mean, if this world was created, you believe that it was created by something evil, but What if the truth was that it wasn't created by something evil and things are going to work out in the end? This is happening for the greater good. I mean, you would love that, even though you believe that it wasn't created for, any good reason, So you care about the truth. You don't care what you believe the truth to be. You just care about what the truth really is, you see. And that's really important. That's really important. One of the reasons why I think life might just be a crazy trip is because it seemed too absurd to be real. Don't you sometimes feel like life is actually too absurd to be real? Like, this can't be real. This can't be the real reality. Like, the things that are happening make no sense. Like, this is an insult to our consciousness. It's like a very stupid movie written by a very stupid person. Everything is upside down, People don't care about the truth. You care about the truth. You're surrounded by people who don't care about the truth. People who shame you for caring about the truth. That's not supposed to be real. That's not supposed to be the real world. It's like a game, It's like a stupid game. Sometimes I look at life that way, like it's just a stupid game. You are literally surrounded by enemies who don't even know they are your enemies yet. Because think about it. If you care about the truth and you're surrounded by delusional people who don't care about the truth and will shame you for standing for the truth, they are your enemy. They are your enemies. And they've always been your enemies. You just don't know that they're your enemies. They will know that you're your enemies if you decide to actually stand for the truth for real. Because they will start to hate you for standing for the truth. You see, they'll realize that you're different from them. They'll realize that what you stand for really threatens their beliefs. And some people really identify with their beliefs, I mean, a person who calls themselves a Christian takes everything personal if it seems to be against their belief, if it seems to be against their faith. They feel like they're being attacked, you know what I mean? If someone says, I don't think Jesus existed, they feel like that person is attacking them because they're a Christian. You see? So all these ignorant people are your enemies, until they wake up, if they're capable of waking up, I mean. But I think it's impossible for some people to wake up, and that is something that we have to come to terms with. Some people are incapable of waking up. No matter what you tell them, they won't wake up. No matter what they see, they will never wake up. Like there's nothing. Listen, there are some Christians in this world. Even if aliens came from another planet and told us that, well, they are actually the ones that created us by merging their DNA with the DNA of Earthlings, and that's why we're here. And they showed us proof. There are some Christians who will not believe that. There are some Christians who say, "Ah, these people just got that. These beings are just demonic and all that." Like, there's some. Listen, there are some people. No matter what you tell them, no matter what you show them, like, no matter what. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, no matter what happens, they will remain delusional. Like, it's over for them. There's no way they're going to wake up. There's no way that they're going to see the truth. Like, it's completely impossible for them to actually wake up and see the truth. And that's what scares me. If people ain't able to see the simplest truth, how are they going to see truth that's actually complicated? You have to understand that we've been lied to for many generations. And this lie is like part of us now. Everything is absurd in this world, man. And it's obvious that something isn't right. Like, no matter what life is, it's obvious that something isn't right. Even if it's a dream, it's obvious that something isn't right. It's just that I would understand. If I was the only conscious thing in the world, I would be like, whatever, man, I just screwed up. It is what it is. But it is obvious that something isn't right. No matter what life is. You see, even if we were created by a God who loves, like, something isn't right. Even if this was a simulation, something isn't right. Even if this was a trip, something isn't right. Even if this was a prison and we did something wrong, something isn't right. Because we're supposed to know what we did so that we'll not do it again, ever. Like, us knowing that we did something wrong will actually allow us to learn how to be better. Now, this reminds me of of my favorite episode from Black Mirror. I've told you about this episode. If you still have not watched it, I don't know. It's a brilliant episode. It's called White Bear, where this lady was being punished for her and a boyfriend killed this young girl and buried her. They were punishing her by wiping off her memories completely, and she would wake up in a house and not know who she really is, where she comes from. She'll not know anything, and she'll go outside and there will be guys that would be trying to shoot her, and she would run asking for help, and people would just, try to, like, take photos of her and videos of her, and that's it. Like, they wouldn't help her. Like, she wouldn't even know what she did wrong, and it would be revealed to her in the end that this is what she did wrong. Like, if she knew that she did something wrong, at least she would have time to think about what she did. You see, when you are being punished for doing something wrong, you actually do realize that what you did is wrong when you are suffering. And you know that, okay, what I did to suffer is this. So you'll have enough time to actually regret doing what you did. But if you don't know what you did wrong and you're just being punished, really, how are you going to improve? How are you going to change? If this was a prison, I do believe that many people, when they go out of this prison, then they become very angry. Like, what kind of prison was that? Was it really about me, becoming better, or it was just, it's part of someone's entertainment, In this episode that I'm telling you about, there were people who would just go there and just watch that lady struggle, and it was entertainment. You'd see that it has nothing to do with justice. That lady was just being used for entertainment. Like, can you imagine when you die, you actually tell you that, well, it was a prison, you were doing time here, and you're free now. How would you feel? I mean, you'd have mixed emotions. I mean, if we'll still feel emotions, in the next reality, if there is a next reality. I like being skeptical. I don't like, talking as if I know what's really going on. I've told you what I believe, and I will keep on telling you what I believe, but we still should remain skeptical. You have mixed emotions. You'll be like, really? Really? You have to understand that life is crazy, bro. The experience that we're having is really crazy. Like, you have no clue what the heck is going on, and you suffer, and you're scared. You don't even know what happens after you die. You know what I mean? Like, that's like the worst punishment. Not knowing what's really going on and suffering, and realizing that everyone else does not care. Like, everyone else is just doing their thing, and they don't care what's going on. They don't care what the truth is. They're lying to one another, manipulating one another. And the people that you thought were like you are way dumber than you thought they were. Like, they're just dumb, and you're like, are they really like me? How sure am I that humans are the same? I might think that humans are the same because, well, they seem to have the same features, but hi, something isn't right. You can't say that I'm like some of these people. Some of them, I'm so different from some of these people. Some of these people seem to be truly irrational. Like, we're not the same animals. Something isn't right. You have to live with these people. You have to be classified under one species, follow the same rules, be controlled by the same people. I was having a conversation with someone about politics. It was like, it's sad that we have to vote. And what makes it sad is because people are not the same, and the majority of people are actually stupid. The reason why the world sucks is because the majority of people are actually stupid. They want to vote for people who don't even care about them because they're not even conscious enough. Listen, I want you to get this, and this is something that's very important to understand. If you own the livestock, right? Do you think the animals will actually realize that you don't give a shit about them? Do you think that if someone else is like, yo, your owner does not give a shit about you, they will believe that person? They wouldn't, right? Unless, some of them were smart. They'll be like, yeah, you can see that this person doesn't give a shit about me. As humans, most of us ain't even capable of seeing that these people who are making decisions for us don't give a shit about us. We ain't even capable of seeing that. Like, we see, so now you have to suffer because, everyone else is unable to see that, well, we are being manipulated in so many different ways, and they don't even care about us, these people that are manipulating us. You're able to see that, but they're unable to see that. So you have to suffer with them because you are outnumbered. See how messed up that is? Wouldn't it be better if people who believed certain things lived in one place? You know what I mean? Because we're not really the same as people. Those who want to be religious, well, they live in countries, like for example, Christians live in their own countries, Muslims live in their own countries, atheists live in their own countries, and atheists who believe in science live in their own countries. Atheists who don't believe in science live in their own, you know what I mean? So that people will actually be able to be free. People who believe in euthanasia live in their own country, Because you can't say, just because the majority of people do not agree that a person must actually have a right to choose when to exit, no one should be able to choose when to, like, that's wrong on so many levels. We're not the same. Isn't that true? We are not the same. There are millions of people who actually think that if a person wants to exit and that's what they really want, and we all can see that that's what they really want, because that's also important, because people do sometimes make decisions because they're very angry. That can happen. We know that because we're humans. That can happen. So it will be important that we all know that, okay, this is what this person really wants, so that we will not fail them. That's important. We're humans. We need to help one another for real. Like, it will be good to live in a country where, yeah, if a person really wants to go, we allow him to go, and we even host a party for them. Invite the people who are in their lives, to speak. Wouldn't that be dope? Whenever I attend funerals and see people saying good things about a person who's dead, I'm like, that's completely pointless. I mean, when that person was alive, you never even said any of the things that you're saying. So who are you really saying these things to? Think about it. Who are you really saying these things to? I mean, if something happened and I died right now, there will be many people who say good things about people who have never said anything good about me. People who've been gossiping about me. Like, oh, yeah, Benedictines was very kind. Benedictines, he will help people in this way and that way. Benedictines, some people might judge him, but he was very... He was a very deep thinker, and he wanted the truth. And I think that's a good, they would say good things about me, but now people will be criticizing me. It's so funny. So it would be great if people were allowed to have pre-funerals where people are able to say what they want to say to them. That would be beautiful. But we're so different that some people don't think that is good, and that's why I'm saying it would be best if we divided countries according to beliefs. What do you believe? What laws are you willing to follow? It's wrong to force everyone to follow the same laws. Can you imagine? In some countries, some people aren't even allowed to smoke weed. It's illegal. They literally get arrested for smoking weed. I mean, that's a fucking plant, dude. That's a fucking plant. In South Africa, weed is legal, and well, nothing has changed. It's not like now people are killing each other nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. There hasn't been anything illegal that has happened that I know of that has happened because of weed. Like, ever since weed became legal in South Africa, there isn't anything that is illegal or anything that is bad that has happened because someone was high. I mean, yes, of course, things will happen that will be done by people who are high, but I mean, there isn't anything that I know of that has happened because someone was high. Usually, messed up things happen because, well, people drank alcohol, for an example. They're drunk. But alcohol is legal. I mean, I'm not saying it should be illegal. I'm saying if alcohol is legal, then of course you wouldn't be justified to say that smoking a plant that doesn't do any harm is illegal. So that's what I'm saying. It would be better if we divided countries by beliefs. People who believe that weed should be legal live in their country where weed is legal and do their thing there. You know what I mean? And it would even be doper if we had different states, you know, because of course, even if we believe that weed should be legal, it doesn't mean that we'll be believing the same things. I know that the world is kind of like that because there are countries where euthanasia is legal, but it's not easy for people to travel to these countries. People are broke. I mean, usually people who want to exit are broke. No, not really though, but the majority of people here are just broke. So of course, most of the people that want to exit are people who are broke because, well, most people are broke. Like, it's not easy for someone in South Africa to go to Canada, and I don't think they even allow foreigners to, you know, sign up for that program, that MAID program. I don't think they allow foreigners. So you can see that there are a lot of things that are actually wrong with this reality. We're slaves in this reality, you know. Most of us, I won't say all of us, because it seems like some people are just stupid enough to accept things as they are. So I can't say they're slaves. I mean, they're good. They seem to be doing good. They seem to love this. So it's hard for me to say they're slaves because this is how they want things to be. I mean, you can't call a Christian a slave if they want to obey Jesus and do whatever Jesus says, if they want to worship God for eternity, you know what I mean? Because it has been written in the Bible that they will be worshiping God for eternity. Like, that's what they want. So should we call them slaves? I mean, that's what they want. That's what makes them happy, I guess. But if someone like me was forced to worship God for eternity, of course I'll be a slave. And if I don't want to be a slave, I'll become a prisoner. That's what will happen, because I'll be like, I don't want to do this shit. And they say, well, you must be punished for not wanting to worship our God. You're evil for not wanting to worship our God. That's why my favorite battle rapper said, I have some insight. I told my inner demons I'll take to the grave. Intelligence makes you a prisoner. Ignorance makes you a slave. When you're ignorant, well, you're gonna be a slave. Because you're kind of like ignorant, right? But when you're really intelligent, you're gonna rebel and then become a prisoner. Like, now I don't want to do what I do not want to do, so well, you become a prisoner. Like, you can't be free in this world. It's either you become a slave or a prisoner. We're different, man, and we're treated like we're all the same. I'm not like Christians. I'm not like Muslims. I'm not like the Rastafarian guys. I'm me, bruh. There ain't that many people who are like me in the world, so it would be wrong to force me to follow the rules that everyone else is following. Because, well, of course I won't be happy if I'm being forced to follow rules that I do not want to follow. Just because I live in a world where, well, people are following these rules. You see? Bringing a child into this kind of world is wrong on so many levels, you know. It's wrong to bring a child into a world where they'll have to experience what we're experiencing. It's wrong on that level too. Like, it's, you know, on this video I was explaining to you what makes having children actually wrong. What makes it wrong than right? It's wrong because the world itself isn't good. It's wrong because, well, not everyone is enjoying this experience. It's wrong because, well, you cannot get consent from someone before you bring them here. It's wrong because you don't even know what this shit is. It's wrong because, well, You have no clue what this shit is. It's wrong because, well, people ain't even smart. It's wrong because we are being asked to be slaves. And the other option that we have is to be prisoners. And we're supposed to be okay with that. That is wrong. It is wrong because it's wrong to impose life on someone. It's wrong to impose an experience on someone, especially if that experience comes with a lot of responsibilities. See, this experience comes with a lot of responsibilities. It's not like you just chill. You have to do a lot of things. It's wrong because some people think it is wrong, and they are here having the experience, and they're here because someone brought them here. And that matters. That really matters. It's not like I'm a person who wasn't brought here through birth. It's not like I wasn't conceived, so I'm just speaking for those who were conceived. Like, no, I was brought here the same way that everyone was brought here. And I'm saying it's wrong. It's wrong because there are a lot of people who are suffering for real, and who do not want to suffer, and who would have preferred to not be here. It's wrong because, well, people are confused. They don't even know what they should be doing here. It's not like we have a purpose. It's not like I can explain to someone what we're supposed to be doing here. You know, people just do whatever. People steal, rob, kill, abuse one another, enslave one another because, well, they don't know what they're supposed to be doing. They don't know what the purpose here is. It's like the gods left us here to torture one another. When you really think about it, animals kill each other for food, you know, kill each other for energy. We use one another, slave one another, use one another for energy, all this shit. You can see that that's how things have been set up. Like we can't change that. You know, it seems. Even if we merged with AI, even if we created a new simulation, we wouldn't really be able to change that. It seems to me that we wouldn't be equal still. Like no matter what happens, we'll never be equal. The same way that, what you must realize is that it's not like you want chickens to be like you, to be as powerful as you are. You don't want them to be as powerful as you are because you want to enslave them. You see? That's the issue. You want to enslave them. You want to eat them. If they were like you, I guess you wouldn't be able to eat them. This world is wicked, man. And it's obvious. And that is the truth. Thank you all, guys.